The role of course community is very important, and of course learning with other people is really enjoyable, and I think everybody has very good memories of making friends in class, but I think it goes much beyond that. The best form of learning is more student-centered, and I think the goal of every instructor should be that they should rely on you for your expertise, but they should also rely on each other for their learning, and they might even rely on other people outside the classroom for their learning. So getting to them to that point is really important. Now, I've taught classes where community has formed spontaneously, and it's kind of a magical experience. But I think it's even better if the instructor plans for it. So you can create community in your classroom by starting off slowly. You want to think about how to get students to get to know each other at the beginning of the class, and more important, how to learn how to work together, because then you're preparing them to work together on significant learning activities and assignments later on.
The role that community can play in enhancing online learning is that a community of people has usually begun to trust each other. And a lot of times good learning can be risky. You're asking people to consider new things, voice their opinions on new things, possibly debate with each other. And if you don't have that trust and relationship started, I think it makes it too risky for some people. And so, especially in an online environment where you don't see each other face to face, it's nice to spend that first week, if you can, really creating community within your learners and getting them to know each other, so that once you start with the actual content and the hard part, they feel that they can trust each other even a little bit, and then that builds over time, and hopefully they can know that they're learning in a low risk environment. A good way to get trust going in the beginning of an online class, any number of like icebreaker activities, we've all done them in face-to-face classes, but to think about how that might be done in an online environment. It could be as easy as, tell us your name and why you're here and where you came from. Or it could be something a little bit more creative, like have them do some sort of a scavenger hunt and try to find somebody who is these three things or these three things, or find somebody who came from the same state as them, depending on who your audience is. But and usually you would use an online discussion board to do that and have them just start interacting, and ideally start using the tools too, so that they're not only learning to trust each other, but they're also learning to trust in the online environment and the tools that they're going to be using moving forward. Because oftentimes, if a person doesn't feel safe in the technology environment either, that's going to be a distraction to their learning.
Overall, community building is, I think, takes time and effort on instructors' end to develop, but it can bring very good results. Yeah, with anything that is innovative, interactive, it will take extra time and extra effort to support and maintain. So, for example, if an instructor wants to have group work done within a course, instructor will need to spend some time writing very clear guidelines what group work means, and the instructor will need to put together ground rules for group work, and they need to come up with very clear and concise grading criteria, how they're going to assess group work. And there are many things that could go wrong with group work, but when it works, it's really good. It's really good, and the results are very good, and students are happy. But just, one other thing is that, students need to be trained how to work in a group, and it will take time. So I think if an instructor wants to have something, some activities that would be community-based, collaborative, then the first 2-3 weeks of a course need to be spent on training students how to collaborate.
Vincent Tinto has spent a good part of his career studying student retention, and one of his findings is that that sense of belonging is very important in student retention. I think that particularly in the online environment, that a sense of community is critical. It helps students, again, be engaged. It helps them have a commitment to other students in the course, so that when they are asked to work collaboratively, there's much more motivation to do that and do it well. One reason that this is so important is that we don't have the same kind of cues that we have in the face-to-face environment. We don't have body language, we don't have facial expression, voice inflection, and so forth. And I think that without those things, we need to find other ways of connecting with the others in the course. So that's one reason that I would stress that, particularly for the online environment.